Well, we had some technical issues, but we are now back. Welcome back to the stream, everyone. I'm still Pastor, still joined by Poobel, Cafe Dostoevsky, Joe.
Yeah, it's well, looking into this, sort of you pretend you haven't seen that first map, you would think this would probably favor MDF quite a lot. They started off their Swiss stage with a 7-0. I believe they won it once in groups among all of the different Oregons they played throughout groups and playoffs. I believe Cafe, the other one that they've played a significant amount of time, and they've won a lot of times. But after Clubhouse, they were looking awfully shaky. The defenses weren't really up to standard from either team, but obviously that includes MDF. They weren't looking particularly great, and their attacks, honestly, were almost just down to a sort of lack of life shown by the other team's defenses. It wasn't anything exceptional, I would say, on the attack. So going into Cafe, it's certainly anyone's game here. Obviously, the 7-0 will kind of linger in your heads. They won 6 attacks in a row in that Cafe match against Odessa. So they are still very much the favorite going into this map. And I still think we probably will see a 2-0, but I think it's going to get much closer than you probably would have thought going into today.
So this is going to be, I think, a fairly close map. I don't think that it's going to be like a complete blowout, but I don't think it'll be as close as Clubhouse. Obviously, Clubhouse, that was Cook's pick. They sort of prepared that they were going to play that. Cafe Dostoevsky, again, we've mentioned how strong a map it is for MDF. And this is their choice. They are confident that they can win here. I don't think it will be as close as Clubhouse, but I'm thinking probably 7-4, 7-5. But I think MDF will probably take the series 2-0, even after seeing.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it should definitely favor MDF going into this, just as that stronger team in general. So it really is sort of the ball's in their court. They need to get off to, I would say, a strong start. I'm not too sure what side they're starting on. If they picked it, I'd imagine they're starting on the attack. So if they can start a good pace on the attack, winning sort of three of those rounds at least, you're looking to have a pretty strong defensive half. As long as you can get those defenses sort of checked out, make sure to commit to those roams. As we only really saw proper, consistent success from the defense when they full-on just roamed with multiple people, reinforcing those positions well and those bar defenses. And the first attacker even getting taken off the board in this ban phase. We're heading into Cafe. Flores, an operator that had quite a lot of value in Clubhouse, just dealing with a lot of that utility. Obviously, you could just drop it down the hatches. We could still have seen some around Cafe, but I'd imagine that this might go hand in hand with an Azami ban, to be honest. Just getting rid of Flores, getting rid of Azami, 2 of those strong operators. Nook, another defender, meeting the ban phase here. A lot of sort of potential with that operator. Nades can be very deadly from below. So just take out nice and early on, don't have to deal with it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure Flores' competitive debut in Europe was on this map as well and proved to be very, very strong. So that trend has continued and indeed is why we see him taken away here. This final defender as well is going to be Azami. Again, you see a lot of like sort of pairs of bans. You have that Thatcher Kaid, which we saw in Clubhouse. Flores and Azami bans also tend to go quite well together, because if you don't have a Flores, dealing with those quick keeper barriers is very, very difficult indeed.
Yep, the 5 barriers, 4 drones, basically deal with all of those gadgets she deploys. Very interesting lineup from MDF here to start off, though. We've got that armory for potentially a fast push. Blitz as well being hovered around, so we could be seeing just a full-on rush here. Gridlock, maybe not the fastest operator, but still decent for slow, decent for sound as well. Those transfingers, very loud, very good at masking other sound. Obviously, got to just sort of grab this before you get your hopes up. There is attacker repick. They could change if they want to. We're already seeing Book being sort of onto Ying off as well. The Amaru and Blitz, though, 2 of those most out there picks, I would say, on this lineup, still being stuck in here. So we might not be seeing a full-on rush here. The Book and Sledge certainly suggest we're going to be seeing. Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing vertical play here, I'd imagine, with those Book and Sledge. You certainly can. Maybe they were expecting something like that top floor or like that kitchen, which is why they swapped off those other picks. Instead, they've met with a middle floor site, and we're going to just see how they choose to roll with it.
Hachi's still on the Amaru is the interesting point for me as we start to see this attacking lineup. They are going towards from this northern side of the building just to supply great pressure onto Pillar, making very quick entry into the bomb site should they need it. Instead, Hachi looks like he's going to be going up into that sort of cocktail balcony window, like we tend to see with an Amaru. Obviously, usually that's when you're attacking in the top floor, but still useful for dealing with that roam gate that can come through in the Azami, and perfect bait of the C4 as well on the hatch, just waiting that amount of time to ensure that they don't get caught out, because that could have been a double kill from Ollie, like right off the bat.
Yep, absolutely. The attack there, forcing that to be wasted. Also just solidifies the fact that, yeah, there is a Mozzie roaming around there. His killing power muted just a bit with the loss of that nitro cell, and you keep the all-important soft breaching operator of the sledge there. Still, damage exchange both ways. Another peek from QuQ comes out, but Souther taking a lot of damage, but he's still traded out quite a bit on the just on the IQ. Obviously, Mute having that sort of higher health pool is still, I would imagine, have roughly the same amount of health, just maybe a bit more. Still getting a lot of value on that roof as well with the IQ gadget, just spawning out all these different little pieces of utility. But actually, it's QuQ to get that first blood. Yuki taken down immediately. Sort of potential for a bit of panic here from MDF. There's no hard breach.
Oh my god!
The secondary Larry gets another one. The Amaru finally springs into life, but it all seems a bit too late. There's two bodies dropped on the top floor. MDF search scrambling for a response.
And now here comes a little bit more pressure, and Aina nearly caught out inside a cigar lounge as well. Ollie peeking up through those white stairs, could have found a pick, but instead it's just Ghost, those phantom pressure. Finally some damage dealt as Hachi trying to come on through, but it's actually just who finds himself injured. Finally 2 picks come in the way, make it 3 as Hachi and Aina finding kills. Just is down. There's a C4 from Souther as well into a 2 versus 2, assuming that Just can get picked up. Otherwise Aina's left in the clutch, but indeed he does pick up that player with 35 seconds. This attack looking a little bit stunted. Souther and EJ very, very strong, and EJ's bringing along the shotgun. As we know, Joe, shotgun's got that buff. It is ridiculous the amount of damage they can do now. We tested it out last night, and there's an SMG-11 shot from Souther onto Just as well. Now Aina's left in a clutch situation, finds the first onto Souther, who just dipped away. EJ now left in this situation, does have this shotgun, but does he know of this position? Aina rotating outside of the building through to this door. Gonna try and get the plant down, the shotgun perfect for it. Super 90, indeed. Aina goes for the swing, but caught in the animation. EJ shuts it down. No clutch available for MDF, and QuQ get off to a winning start here on Cafe Dostoyevsky.
Yeah, very, very scrappy roam clear there from MDF. It honestly looked like they should have lost that round a lot earlier, but it was mainly due to the heroics of the Amaru player, Hachi, on the late grapple, getting those 2 picks, really sort of swinging things in favor of MDF until that nitro cell came out. It looked very, very winnable for both sides at various points. They're obviously left in that clutch with a shotgun, such close quarters, such little time. You're going to be putting money on that Valkyrie to win that, and as she did, EJ, I believe, using that shotgun there to its full effect. But you've really got to commend sort of all of QuQ there for getting those picks, especially on that top floor. Larry. Those explosive openers there, really doing a lot of damage to MDF. But still seeing Hachi though on this Amaru, so well.
Never mind. Never mind.
Now onto the Twitch, which makes a bit more sense. Obviously, there's no mirror being brought here. She is banned, but Twitch can find other usage, specifically burning those Goyo canisters early, destroying those meat jammers, even destroying things like the Ella. Even the Fenrir stuff. If the Fenrir dread mines are active, they are susceptible to Twitch lasers, I believe. So there is definite potential for that operator, but not even being picked. Just going for the good old-fashioned Yana here, nades in pocket, very consistent entry operator here. The MDF to try and get their first round on the board.
Then again, we're seeing a bit of a reluctance from QuQ to take early fights, as I say that. So we've already found the kill, as it's just a rush in through from MDF. Again, it's not actually on the hands of QuQ that early gunfight came through. Instead, it's all on MDF with this quick entry into the bakery. This is probably, I think, the earliest we've seen a kill come through the entire game, the entire series so far. Yuki now just holding off this attacking side over on this side of things. The vertical came through as well, with those TNTs coming out. Bow canisters burned, but Breach now opened up, and there's an opportunity for Kai to find the pick. 3 versus 4 Joe within the first minute.
Yeah, and things are still going to be very difficult for MDF here. They've got that breach open, but with no smokes in pocket of anyone, they're going to have to rely purely on that map cover or just go for a full-on clear of the site. We see Yuki getting very aggressive, virtually unimpeded on the shield. The flank attempted by Just, but Larry, all too good on that Scorpion. Variox taking down a bit as well. That being said, just full-on taken down instead. It's all up on Yuki on that Monty, and there's nothing he can do. QuQ really just out of the gate swinging here, denying that fast play, fast execute by MDF, and get 2 on the board here.
How fitting that QuQ finds success in the kitchen. And again, those shots from Larry, man, they're just ridiculous. I can't even fathom being that good at the game on M&K, and he's out here on it, doing it on the controller. So, you know, some people are just destined for greatness. I guess I'm not one of them. As finally we see that top floor.
Yeah, top floor finally being brought out here, a site that I'm sure many are familiar with. There's tends to be that first pick in ranked. Usually people will just pick the first site that comes up, but in competitive, actually, top floor isn't quite as strong as it is in those other game modes. The Skylight even providing quite a difficult puzzle for the defenders to deal with there. It's such a blatant advantage to the attack, you could say, giving them that full access from outside onto the side itself. You can hold a lot of deep cross angles with that Skylight being used. So it requires the defenders here of QuQ to play around it. We're seeing rotates opened up away from that Skylight there. So that's one way of sort of neutralizing the attackers, but still, it can be quite a nuisance, specifically when it gets down to that post plant. If you still have a player on the roof, which you don't often do, you have 5 of those men in the building, it can be virtually impossible for the defense after that. So it's really going to be around not letting that diffuser sort of get planted for QuQ.
There's heavy pressure yet again. Larry is now just feeling himself, and this is a different look than Clubhouse, where often in that map we didn't see opening kills within the first half of the round. You know, it was 1 minute left on the clock. We still had a 5 versus 5 this time. Well, QuQ certainly feeling a lot more confident to take those fights, and hopefully that's something we see transferred onto MDF on their defenses as well, because when it came down to those late round 5v5s, the attack often had the advantage, and this time around, defense a lot more aggressive, a lot more active in their pressure onto these attackers as well, and it's working out for them. QuQ are ready to erupt, and they have the 5 versus 4 inside of this one, Joe.
Yeah, that burst of energy from the defense is really what we need to see here from both sides to show the life in them. Yuki almost missed that kill, but Larry just not aware the angles were open here. A lot of MDF players on this rappel. 3 of them on this rappel here. One run out would do wonders, and Ollie does exactly that. Takes down Just. That's the sledge off the board. I believe one nade was potentially still in pocket here. So MDF once again now scared away from this rappel here, forced to try and find this evening kill, find equalizer onto Ollie, who's still, you know, fair play to him, playing down in the second floor. He's not retreated back to site yet. He sees that there's still potential for damage to be done. They're likely relaying the info of that Candela coming through the Skylight, but there's not really going to be a push to go alongside it. Sure, you have one of those players on the rappel, I believe that's Aina, but Variox is below. You can't commit 2 men to that deep push. It's just not enough people there. Ollie, though, does get taken down, and MDF put in a fairly good spot here. Candela's still in pocket, so there is potential for a push here with only 55 seconds left and still that warm on the board. It could be very deadly for the side of QuQ.
Look at this vertical being opened up though by Variox, but not for long as EJ's found a kill. Yuki takes a drop down. The FNAT Dreadmine going to be so intrusive into that push in. Aina now taking the swing. Sother taking a lot of damage for it as well. Yuki trying to get that kill, and indeed does before being taken down by Kai. So now EJ and Kai against Aina, who is in a clutch situation. 25 seconds on the clock, starting to plant this diffuser, and might just be sticking it here. Could get an angle outside the building, but that's for later. For now, he just needs to survive. The red ping's on as well. This is going to be a difficult situation for Aina to try and deal with angles being watched left and right. EJ nearly finding that angle, but Aina now aware of this position. Looks away at just the wrong time for the swing, but no capitalization on it from EJ, who gets taken down. Aina with this clutch could get it through, and Kai's not looking in the right direction. Impact grenades go out, but the swings keep on coming. Reload caught in the animation, and Kai's now so low and can't find the kill. MDF, it's a 1v2 to get their first round on the board, but hey, a round win is a round win, and they finally get on the scoreboard here on Cafe.
Yeah, 1 versus 2 clutch as well. You've got to keep in mind, so MDF's vibes are likely going to be improved a little bit there. Obviously,
yeah,
a phenomenal play from Aina there, and that's really one of those sort of must-win rounds you see in matches. Not letting QuQ get that three site rotation. You've proven that you do have a bit of life in you left, so already a great start to start staging this comeback here. Only 1 round between them, despite how sort of one-sided this map has seemed so far. So if MDF come away with this next round, suddenly all evened up. QuQ by no means in the sort of safety yet. They've got a lot of work ahead of them on their defenses still. So half of their defenses remaining. So MDF have a lot of opportunities here to pull it back. We've seen them do similar things before. We saw them deal with adversity on that clubhouse when their backs are against the wall. They've really exploded into life. So good start from MDF here. They can keep the ball rolling, hopefully, as they're going for what seems to be a very different setup here, using that IQ once again. But no, actually, it looks to be fairly standard. We saw another operator being brought there. I saw a bright colour. I honestly didn't see which operator it was. I just saw it was a bright colour. It flashed for a moment. But we're going back to the sort of old faithful here. No Amory brought this time, so a little bit safer of a setup here, but still got that double vertical, got that IQ, got the honor for the nades, so a fairly standard setup.
Yeah. You know, we saw again in this... actually, no, it wasn't... No, it was this round last time. It was, we saw the Valkyrie with the shotgun, the ITA 12L. And, you know, we're not actually seeing that this time, but I just want to remind everyone that actually, because of that buff, the 612 is now actually a viable weapon. So, I'm just looking to see some 612 action inside of this series. I don't think it will happen, but again, it now packs a massive punches. Well, there's enough about that, because Hachi's already found the opener, swinging in through. Larry taken down, not able to find that massive success that we saw from him in those first 2 rounds. In the early round, he's got a lot of success for the team, but there's a kill from Ollie, immediately finding the trade, and a little bit of peekaboo with Hachi. It's a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, I guess you just put it on a poor drone work from MDF, assuming that at least the close angle was clear. Very good play from Ollie, though, just seizing the moment, getting very aggressive there. Doesn't die either, in a very difficult position. Down onto just MDF, fumbling to get this kill into the Mozzie here, and still defensive positions being maintained on this second floor. They haven't cleared out the cocktail player. Cigar also is by no means safe as of yet. Hardreach coming out here to try and have a bit more avenues to deal with this here. Verox, not sure if he's having difficulties putting on that wall. It seems like either a call to go elsewhere or a bit of a glitch potentially. He's trying his best here, but he just can't seem to do it. That's all giving QuQ plenty of security here on this top floor. Finally,
the
impact comes out. Doesn't get the trick, I don't believe. It's open, so there is potential to get this kill. Might just get taken down, but treated again by Ollie. The defenders just too good on this top floor from QuQ.
And this isn't even the site they're defending on the top floor. Ollie found 4 kills, just not able to be managed at all by this MDF attack. And there's some serious misplays going on there from the attack, but let's just focus on Ollie. Did so well to find those 4 picks. More than well traded himself out, but it actually ended up being, from that opening pick, a flawless round from the defense.
Yeah, and, you know, it looked to be a good start from MDF. It looked like they had learned from their mistakes. Yeah. They were bringing the aggression early.
And Larry
counting on Larry. Well. Yeah, they were counting on Larry being aggressive in that position. They clearly learned from their mistakes, but then the drone work just seemed to stop after Larry had been killed there. It allowed Ollie to push incredibly aggressive down that white corridor all the way to the Cigar door, and from there, just free pickings on that sledge who had the nade in hand, couldn't actually respond at all. So first pick there already, and from there it all just sort of spiraled out of control with Ollie getting kill after kill, really, and A1 trying to trade him out. Incredible job from him. As we go down to this kitchen, we saw a very fast execute previous time. I don't think it'll be attempted this time, as it really didn't seem to bear any kind of proper advantage. Sure, they got into the site, but there were so many angles being held from the defense that they couldn't do anything. So we're likely going to see a much slower round being played by the attack this time, including that all-important vertical clear from Hachi on the Jackal.
You have Yuki on the IQ as well, just feeding in that information to his side. Looks like he might have spotted something on that scanner. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but still just rotating up. Hatchy as well, wary of this hatch. Now it gets opened up and see there's no one immediately in this presence, but Larry is on the red stairs in this area. Could potentially try and find a kill onto someone dropping. Doesn't quite have the timing and instead just has to fall back. Hatchy now approaching across this top floor, making just sure that it's safe and clear using those Inox scanners. Indeed, find some footprints and might even get a wallbang onto Ollie, who himself is rotating upstairs, but Flank Drone catches him out. Doesn't matter, he's found his 5th kill in 2 rounds. That's 6 on the game, and he's good for a second as well. He walks into the sideline, and Hatchy's now in serious danger, but does manage to finally shut him down. Still, another statement from Ollie inside of this round, and it's put MDF in a disadvantage yet again.
Yeah, MDF finally getting the second floor, but at the cost of 2 lives. It's really all your eyes must be on just now to try and sort of get this advantage back in favour using these vertical angles with the bug, because if not, all that work was really for nothing. Sure, he's got free reign to start ripping up the floorboards, but he needs to get a pick. Simple as he needs to get a pick on one of these defenders to give the attack a chance of following next week. Doesn't see the defender right below him there. Nitro has been burnt. That's a bit of utility wasted from the side of the defenders here. But MDF, they're still so cautious, so scared. They don't want to make a play at all. You've got EJ on this shield by VIP being more than a nuisance here, just stopping any advanced element anywhere. Actually, bullet behind him as well. Doesn't spot the defender behind the bar. And QuQ, once again, continuing this advantage. 4 versus 2 now. MDF really on the back foot.
Aina finally goes into action just on these brown stairs, but he might just fall foul to the exact same angle. Larry taking some damage and indeed does find the kill. Again, rinse and repeat is cut and copy and paste on that one, as Aina now in a very difficult situation. EJ's ready for the swing. And this is a sorry sight for sore eyes, Joe. QuQ are up 4-1 as MDF just struggling to get any form or focus or anything at all on these attacks.
Their confidence has been entirely rocked. You compare this to Clubhouse, where they were more than willing to take gunfights, at least on the site, especially on their attacks as well. They were more than willing to get aggressive, play aggressive angles. They were maybe not exactly thinking with their heads. They were just trying to get kills. And it worked because they have that gun skill to back it up. And now they may still have the gun skill, but they lack that confidence to really properly utilize it. They're playing very far back, very passive in these attacks, and it allows QuQ to continually just single them out, take the 1 versus 1, and win because they're on the defense. They have that positional advantage, they have the cameras, they have the intel, everything just allows these QuQ players to really continually win out these gunfights across the map, and then that leads to MDF being at a man disadvantage. They try and execute, sometimes they don't even get to that point, and then they die. Simple as 1-4 on the scoreline. I honestly think it's probably going to be 5-1. I think QuQ have shown they are very, very good at winning these rounds. They basically were a hair away from winning this previous attempt, round 3. It was up to that 1 versus 2 clutch. So they've shown that they are proficient on this site. This could be 5-1, and if it gets to 5-1, it was basically a single kill away from a 6-0 half. QuQ looking incredible. That overtime loss hasn't affected their mentality really at all in a negative way, and they are still very much full of life in this semi-final.
And maybe that QuQ comeback on Clubhouse just shaking the confidence of MDF a bit, because again, you're seeing not the same attacking half or attacking form from MDF that we saw on that first map, and Cafe is their own map pick, Joe. That's another thing that we have to point out, because they don't look like they're really present at the minute. Like we said, it was just down to a clutch that we actually saw MDF find success on a round, and Ollie is still getting aggressive, might even go for a run out here. Indeed does, looking for a player on the rappel, dips away just in time, caught out by Hatchy. That is how you deal with that aggression from QuQ. Yuki doubles down on it, finds a second, that's EJ off the board. Half the round basically gone, and QuQ are already in a 3 versus 5, with more pressure coming into Larry on the kitchen, and this site very much being swarmed by the attack.
Yeah, MDF feeling much more comfortable on those window repels, playing the game on their terms, taking fights on their terms. Granted, Larry does trade up one, and he's still applying a bit of pressure around here, but as Yuki gets that kill on the map, this is very much looking like an MDF round here. A round they so desperately need, trying to avoid that 5-1, but Larry, he is still out and about. He is still trying his best to maintain this advantage in rounds, to maintain this 3-round lead on MDF. And it has forced MDF to be a bit more passive here. There's drone work coming out from Variox, just clearing out these angles just as well. Finally dropping down, abandoning that skylight here. You still have Aina, I believe, on Repel, potentially, or on the skylight. Either way, outside of the building. So inside here, it's a 2 versus 2. If QuQ can leverage his advantage, and that they do. Larry gets a third on the round, takes it to a 2 versus 1 in the building with Aina still on that skylight. Variox, if he dies here, things could get very, very difficult for MDF.
Larry, the saviour of QuQ inside of this map so far, and that magnet from Kai is going to find one Selma. The second still gets this wall open. Variox as well, pushing forward towards this southeastern side of the map towards White. Aina finds one, but there's a kill from Selda. It's another 1 versus 2 situation in this bomb site. This time it goes the other way, but it's still another clutch, Joe. A second 1v2 on the top floor, this time the way of QuQ, and they have that 5-1 half. What on earth is going on?
Larry just drags them through that round, kicking and screaming, really. He was in a very much losing situation, and he just took it on the chin and was like, okay, I'm going to go get 3 people now. Incredible job from him there.
Larry's been massive this half.
And there's multiple playmakers as well, really. Larry's been massive. You can say the same, really, for Ollie as well. Ollie went nuclear for a couple of rounds as well. QuQ, they are firing on multiple cylinders. It's not just one man spearheading it. Of course, that round very much was. Larry just put the team on his back. Incredible play from him. But looking at the scoreboard, Selda and Ollie have still had a lot of impact here, as well as EJ. Still, 5-1 half, and it's been gotten there just through a combined effort from all the players here. QuQ going onto defense, which should be a more comfortable side for them, on the top of the sort of hype that that clutch would have brought. Really are probably going to be unstoppable here, I'd imagine. They're on the offense even. They've got those better guns. They're coming off the back of a clutch. Things should be going well for them here. They have the confidence to go for these aggressive plays, and that's what MDF lacked basically all half. Even then, that final round where things looked to be going well for them, a lot of those kills were on repels. A lot of those kills were on people running out. It was very much fights that heavily advantaged them. But QuQ don't need to rely on that. QuQ have shown that they're very, very confident in their gun skill on this map at least, so they are likely going to be a much more proactive team than MDF.
For sure, on MDF, if they want to avoid overtime again, they need to win 6 rounds in a row here. Very, very difficult indeed. We can see some pressure coming through from Just, yet to find the scoreboard in a positive manner, apart from 3 assists, I guess you could say, but you know, it is still a very unfortunate situation for this player who we've seen step up in the past, but still opportunity to have a massive impact here. And he's getting very aggressive out on the map, Joe. You know, roaming down even down to this bottom floor. And the site's all the way up on the 3rd floor, up on the very top of the map. And there's a brilliant pick. Larry's taken down. Not only is that your star fragger for QuQ, at least inside of this map, that's a Ying gone as well.
Yep, a lot of utility off the board. It's very much going to be focused on gunfights now for the side of QuQ. Sure, they've got those 2 nades, but Variox continues that advantage, takes down Ollie here, so those 2 star players taken down. It's on the remaining 3 of QuQ to prove their worth in this round. As MDF, they seem to have maybe got a bit of that touchback. They're still playing with a bit of confidence, playing for swings here. EJ forced onto the cigar balcony, a pretty precarious position, although I don't believe there's anyone below. He can take down his cameras as well from relative safety here. Player goes for the push, actually gets the headshot there. It looked like Aina managed to slip away, but wasn't so lucky. Sutter being challenged on these tight angles, not a very wise idea, but he doesn't get the kill yet. Variox just keeps getting this advantage, push forward as well.
My god.
Yeah, doing wonders here on their first defense here. And they might just have a bit of life left in them.
Well, these cafe defenses certainly working out well. This top floor finds success for MDF, and a lot of that is on Variox. 4 kills in the round. Great positioning from their repositions to just catching the attackers off guard. honestly, you can't really ask for a more perfect round from that defender. Just doing such a good job at shutting down the pressure all across the top floor, and QuQ just had no real response to it. They just didn't get an answer.
Yeah, the big thing there is he was going to the fight. They weren't coming to him. He was actively seeking out attackers there, which shows they've still got a bit of that confidence back. They aren't maybe as rocked as we would anticipate going off the back of that 1-5 half. So that's a good sign for MDF there, that they are still very much competitive in this match here. They're heading down that second floor, a site that was chosen twice by QuQ. I believe they won it both times, 5-1 half. They only lost to that top floor side once. So so far, statistically, goes towards in favor of the defense here. Obviously, it might just be because QuQ had a phenomenal half here. MDF trying to emulate this success, but once again, we're seeing a heavy utility investment on this top floor, on the roams, that we didn't see in basically any of those clubhouse defenses. So we could be seeing similar levels of success from MDF here if they're just committing to this roam.
Well, yeah, Clubhouse was a very attack-focused map for those reasons. You know, it was that lack of a roam that, I mean, we were tearing our hair out here on the cast show, but it seems like these teams, they have learned from it. They are, you know, getting aggressive off-site. It's working wonders for these defenses. However, Variox taken down very low. There's an aggressive swing from Aina, who had a lot of damage dealt on him, a lot of heat, but manages to take it off. And Souther being the opening death in this round, thanks to a very good heads-up play from the defense.
Yeah, immediate advantage for MDF here. That has allowed them to maybe get a little bit more aggressive even. QuQ still have managed to make their way into the building. I believe it's just EJ so far. Not the most sort of wise pick, I'd say. That's the hard breach and your diffuser carrier alone in the cigar lounge. So potential for a very crucial pick here as other attackers have now dropped these hatches. EJ has a lot of reinforced walls here to potentially deal with his defender. Getting very aggressive. Variox can't repeat the same magic of that previous round. Apache instead, the initiative, push it in, gets one of the mount immediately, almost gets that wall bang, but still retreats back, has a shield to hide behind. So much utility for the attack to get through, but the defenders have actually chosen to just leave. So with 1 minute 24, the attack have cleared this second floor. They're ready to go for the
He found the scoreboard!
But just gets a kill, finally. As he said, turns that donut into a breadstick. 1 on the scoreboard for him, but it's a very impactful kill. It's maintaining this advantage, continuing it even as QuQ still on the back foot here, trying to make something work.
Ollie nearly gets a kill onto Yuki, but the defender just 2 on the ball. EJ's now in a very tough spot. We start to see the first swing out, and that is what we like to see from MDF. They're going back to those aggressive swings, to those heads-up plays, and it's working out for them. QuQ's not able to deal with the aggression. And suddenly, they start to have a little bit of a fight back in here, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 2 on the row, 2 on the board, so 3 on the board even. 2 in a row here, so a win streak has technically been formulated. 2 wins is a streak, I suppose, but if they can keep this going, get to 3-5, and maybe even 4-5, you're suddenly putting a lot more pressure on QuQ to try and finish this round. You know, that one more round mentality can be so detrimental for a team because it gets increasingly frustrating with every single opportunity you miss. Going down into Kitchen here, a site that QuQ had a lot of success in despite MDF's early aggression. It statistically, I believe, favors the defense here. Obviously, you do have to go for that sort of second floor roam to maintain control there and stop the attack from gaining that vertical for free. We're going to be seeing Larry on that book, who will likely be engaging up there just to try and make life miserable for those defenders on site. But still, MDF, they're looking pretty good here. They've got that Thorn, so immediately shows they are still wanting to get aggressive here. No Warden being picked though, so it's just that one hyper-aggressive operator, I guess. Ain't it on the Jaeger, maybe a blast from the past, running around with that 416C. But either way, MDF, they need to commit to the upstairs, and so far, I'm not seeing anyone up there, so this could be a critical misplay for them.
We'll have to wait and see. About 3 minutes time, we will have the answer to your concerns, Joe. And, well, I'm going to be honest, I have to agree with you. Is finally, I think we see a defender, at least inside a pillar right now. Could have dipped back down those brown stairs, but yeah, indeed has, because you don't see anyone. Actually, no, Yuki still up here, still causing a nuisance, and might have got the spot onto Ollie, actually. throws another Razor Bloom, but instead just dips back down those white stairs. An early gunfight missed as those players just passed each other like ships, not in the Suez Canal because they kind of crashed recently, but in most other places the ships won't hit each other, and that's the analogy.
Yep, absolutely. MDF though, they're playing very boxed in here. They're very close to site. There's no real roaming presence here, and that's a cause for concern because
opposite of what we've seen.
Yeah, Larry's on that book. Larry is his entire game plan here, assuming he sort of gets down onto the second floor. His entire game plan is going to be ripping up that floor. Ollie 2 to a lesser extent has those hard breach charges. Obviously, you're probably going to want to keep those actual breaching rounds for sort of bulletproof gadgets. The defenders are now potentially going to move a little bit. No, still, they're all just focused around this site on the bottom floor here, and it's allowing Larry just to have free range here, ripping up the floorboards, isolating them. They've noticed one's in bakery as well. They can just hold that angle, stop from getting ahead as Ollie, very thankfully, nearly got his head taken out there, just swung out with the breaching round as the defender also made a swing. Neither of them shooting each other, so very lucky there as he's pushing the issue, advancing further and further here, but the defender back to site as Aina ends up winning a fight actually. That's Southern off the board.
Yeah, the bulletproof cameras as well going to provide some information. Variox just sitting on those, but it's Kai who finds a pick. Hachi already low, now taken out of the round into a 4 versus 4 with 40 seconds left on the clock. There's a lot of 4s, there's a lot of pressure going towards the bomb site as well, as Variox is fouled, as EJ just pushes in to Bakery. They had no idea the default cam was on as well, but they have no clue that this pressure has come in. Yuki, though, does take him down. Diffuser now cold on the floor, surrendered inside a Bakery, and it's so isolated. No one's really there. Ollie, Yuki trading each other out as well, and it's still these equal player counts, but time continuing to tick down, Joe. We've seen this a lot, and we know what the consequences of this can be as it goes into red time now. Ticking down, we see the sense of seconds, and there's another trade coming through. Larry, Aina, and just now sitting inside of the freeze. There's an impact grenade! Oh! Wait, what are you doing? How did you do that?
I don't know.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Questionable decisions there.
Indecision
Yeah.
from Justin. It throws the round away. Map point to QuQ.
Obviously, such little time, 2 entry points. They're likely going to go for the doorway because it's quicker. You don't have to go for that vaulting animation. You have more time to actually kill someone. Instead, choosing to just cover that with the impact nade, I guess, running on the intel that the player was low on health. Mankai was low. I honestly expected that impact to maybe kill, but it was missed. Or elsewhere, though, another sort of key issue there, Aina on that Jaeger. On such low health, he chooses the off position, standing on the little half wall. And usually, if you're on full health, great. They're not going to be aiming that high to get the headshot. You'll probably win that fight. When you're on such little HP, you're probably better off hiding more of your body, just playing that more of a head glitchy angle around the top half wall, instead of exposing all of that full hitbox. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He did end up getting the trade, I think, but he was instantly taken out by that buck, essentially. So a couple of strange decisions from the defense there allowed the attack to take that last second clutch. So that's going to put a sour taste in their mouth. It's also going to really fill QuQ with happiness because they've gotten to that 6th round point. Only one more round left. They've gotten over that hurdle of getting to the 6, so immediately they're still showing life in this half. That's a great precedent here as we're going to this the second floor site, I believe, once again. So MDF really in trouble here. No more time for mistakes, and QuQ, they're just loving it right now.
But then again, if we look at the first half, that 3rd round of the half was won by the attack, and every other one was won by the defense. However, this time QuQ might be looking to put a stop to that trend. Hachi's taken down immediately inside of Cigar. That outline just confused me a little bit. It just goes for the swing. Yuki sets as backup, but they just have to fall away as well after the shots are missed. And again, that aggression this time from MDF, it's not quite working in their favour. It's 5 versus 4, Joe.
Yeah, MDF, again, on this back foot, they can't really seem to get an advantage in most of these rounds. QuQ, just laughing with it, still absolutely loving life here. They get that opening pick, already applying pressure below as well. Just gonna have to be very careful here as he's still just taking this constant barrage of bullets from the rappel. Yuki really wants to make a play here. He feels like he has to, but It's so risky. Larry was watching that angle. I saw the gun being used, so I don't think he's there anymore. No, he's off that rappel, but I don't think anyone is actually there for Yuki to kill here. So MDF, they're just trying to make a play, and they're failing. On all avenues, Ollie gets 2. Nearly gets a 3rd. Yuki throws out 2 versus 4. Almost gets another for him. Playing behind the shield. Really crunch time for these final 2 MDF defenders.
And it's not going to be. It's not going to be. Just found 1, but just as quickly, kills come the other way. Team QuQ. That's their opponent's map pick. And this time it wasn't overtime like on Clubhouse. It wasn't even close. 7-3, Joe. And that round 9 is just... There's so many questionable things. Variox is in just an open, like, vulnerable position, just sitting on cams inside of Bakery. Like, that's just a free kill.
Yep.
And then that round 9 really, really confused me. And now we have Skyscraper coming up. Map 3, we thought this was going to be an MDF 2-0, but suddenly QuQ, they might just be back in this one. And let's have a look at their previous series in this quarterfinal, because, again, they lost map 1 in a close game, and then they took the other 2 series, ending it on Skyscraper against E-Wave. We have the opportunity for that to happen again. Cafe Dostoevsky goes their way with a 7-3. What are your predictions for that final map? Do MDF still manages to close it out, or do QuQ complete this reverse sweep here? What's the verdict?
The big thing here is, because QuQ won that in much more of a dominant fashion, that's 7-3 win.
Yeah.
They get that overall round advantage in these first 2 maps. So that gives them the choice of where to choose that third, the side they want to start on that 3rd map. Yeah. So immediately that gives QuQ the sort of comfort, the freedom on their likely to choose defense, I'd imagine, or whatever their preferred side is. It allows them to rack up rounds on that preferred side, just start it nice and comfortably. And that could potentially put MDF on the back foot immediately. We saw how MDF reacted to being on the back foot here with those first 3 rounds, and it wasn't great. They really weren't able to formulate a proper response. And I guess another big thing here mentally is that's the first loss of MDF this entire season of ESA. Yeah. We don't know how they're going to react to that. We don't know if they're going to take it on the chin. We don't know if they're going to be like properly miserable about that. We don't know what the vibe is going to be like in the MDF camp, because this is uncharted territory in this season so far.
Yeah, and I am receiving word that QuQ have decided to start on the defense, and then MDF have elected to start on the defense in overtime should we get there. So that's all the stuff that's coming up for Skyscraper. We'll have a quick break, and then we'll send it right in to map 3. Don't want to miss it. It all comes down to Skyscraper. Welcome back. Map 3 underway. I'm Pasta, still joined by Pubel, of course. I mean, this series has delivered, Joe. I don't think you can argue with that.
Absolutely. We saw a sort of neck and neck battle, really, on Oregon, or the later stage of Clubhouse. And then it was very much a one-sided affair on Cafe, which we expected.
Yeah.
We didn't expect it to go the way it did, though. MDF, their first map in the entirety of this season of ESA, lost.
Yeah.
Cafe. It's the same map that they 7-0'd Odessa on at the start of the Swiss stage. They've now lost in the semifinals. So they are in uncharted territory here. They have never lost a map in this league before. We are really interested to see how they respond to this as we head on to Skyscraper, which, I mean, I was saying at the start, if it did go to a map 3, QuQ does have a decent chance because of how differently Skyscraper sort of plays to those default maps like Oregon, which MDF have loved to play throughout this entire season. So things are really interesting here, and I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. I hope you don't ask me to predict, because I just don't know.
I wasn't, but now I am. Who do you think's going to win?
Well, MDF have that veteran presence. They have 2 of that entropy roster that won the league.
Yeah.
So you'd think, that kind of storied figures would know how to react to a loss like this.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I really don't. QuQ have shown that they can bounce back. They did it in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And this might be a very similar affair. That third map of their previous best of 3 was Sky. They're back here once again, so
Yeah.
I might just
And
say
another
QuQ take
thing-
it.
And another thing as well is the records both these teams have. We haven't seen MDF on Skyscraper yet this season, but QuQ, they've played it 3 times. They've won it 3 times. They have a round difference of +10. They look so strong on this map. However, obviously, that is opportunity for MDF to do a little bit of homework, a little bit of research on this team. But
absolutely,
it's a fairly quick turnaround, really, to try and counter-strat everything that QuQ are going to bring to you. And again, they just look so strong. As these first bans come through, I'm going to just say that I agree with you. QuQ, honestly, I reckon they might take this one because of how good they look on Skyscraper. But again, we said that Cafe looked really strong for MDF, and just remember how that one turned out. So
yeah,
it's so up in the air.
I do not think MDF planned or expected to be here. I think they expected to have that 2-0 win as the final ban comes in. Fairly standard bans across the board. You have that Solus and Fenris, 2 powerful operators. Mean the ban phase. Obviously, that means Valk and his army have snuck in. Nuk being banned, Ying as well. Ying specifically just aimed at those executes. We saw a bit of Ying play attempted last map. It wasn't really met with much success. MDF didn't even really commit to their Candelas when they went for their executes. So those operators being taken off the board, nothing really too out of the ordinary there at all as we head into this first round. The defense on this karaoke, it is karaoke T, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, karaoke T. I thought it was. Karaoke T here, fairly standard lineup. Being the Goya, which has kind of been a pick that has stuck throughout all 3 of these maps. A lot of utility being brought by that one single operator. A lot of area denial as well being provided here by those canisters, each of them lasting, I believe, 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's so much
that's
time.
A very long time that you just simply can't walk through there without taking a decent chunk of damage. The only really sort of out of the ordinary pick here on other maps would be a Rooney, but Sky has a lot of long angles that really benefit the use of that DMR. I imagine Sutter is going to use that DMR. You have a lot of angles you can find throughout sort of like drum, throughout terrace, even onto those windows outside. So it's a very strong pick throughout here, that Rooney, which you might not see on many other maps.
Yeah. And it is going to be an interesting, clash of heads, because again, we haven't seen MDF on here. This is entirely uncharted territory in 2 sectors. And as we can see, Ollie getting aggressive here at this bottom floor early on. This is what we used to see from him, especially on that cafe, but takes a lot of damage early, and this pressure from the drones continuing to come through as more damage being dealt. But back to my point, what I was saying, this is uncharted territory in 2 ways. MDF, they haven't lost a game, but they also haven't played Skyscraper. This is entirely new ground. Oh my god, Ollie's so low. Just finish this gunfight, please.
He's still alive. Every second he's alive is more pressure added to the side of MDF. They've got to kill a Mankai though, so that's probably going to even things out. And Variox, he's gotten to that key position at the top of those backstairs now on the Ursa shield, but not for long. Impact comes out there, shield taken down as well, and Larry finishes the kill, and that's what should be a very powerful position to be attacked there, completely muted by 2 players. So phenomenal job from QuQ there, stopping MDF's advance. That's really going to force them to change things in this execute, I'd imagine, as they don't have that secure cutoff they can use anymore. Yuki's still providing intel, but Ollie, he's on 1 health, and he's still getting so aggressive. Trying to take a fight on his terms as the Ash Charge allows Yuki to make his way into the site. Plant is a very real possibility for MDF here, but I'm not sure how well they can maintain it.
Yeah, Larry was inside a Geisha as well, an incredibly long-range shot with the SMG-11 to take out Variox earlier in the round. And again, we are in this 4 versus 4, but you've said it multiple times, so Ollie is in such low HP, but he's still trying to find new skills. He's not deterred by it at all, and I guess, if you're probably gonna die anyway, you might as well at least try and get another pick. It is, one of those strategies that you could tend to use. It's the one with the diffuser here. With the shield, could have it on his back, but Hachi is the one that's taken damage on this push through. 35 seconds left on the clock, and, well, QuQ are doing a good job at holding this off so far. Finally, Ollie's taken down with a shot from Aina. Yuki's starting to get the plant down. Now that player is gone. They feel secure enough to try and go for the BOs. 45 seconds now on the clock, but EJ has found another kill. Hachi being taken down, and now starting to pressure on this Montaigne of Yuki. Still trying to dipping weave, but just is there on that shrine balcony to take the kill. Aina as well from the rappel to take out Larry, and it's now a 1 versus 3 Souther in a very difficult situation here, Joe.
Yep, nothing he can really do with the Monty. Providing that constant intel, also basically unkillable unless he makes a mistake here, and just cleans up that final kill. MDF, it looked very rough early on, but once they really got that pick onto Ollie, it seemed to give them the confidence to pull the trigger and make that execute happen, which really just kind of almost shows how threatened they feel by Ollie, that player. He had a good map last time. He's shown to be very confident player this time, and they just didn't really want to do anything whenever he was on the board there. So they just waited. They waited till they get a pick there. It was really... It shouldn't have really worked for MDF, honestly.
No.
They were very slow. They had no real sort of cover to stop that Monty from being shot. There was still the ever-present threat of players in the tea room that wasn't really dealt with, but they had that confidence to go through with the diffuser, confidence they lacked all of Cafe, and it ended up working. So honestly, congrats MDF. You've started off on a good foot here on this map pick that is uncharted territory, but you can't get comfortable because QuQ were really close to winning that, honestly, despite it ending up as a 1 versus 3. They had that good mid-round. Ollie particularly not getting a single kill, but wasting a lot of time, a lot of resources, really shows that they are not being messed with there.
I've noticed a trend though, Joe. We saw MDF win that first round of Clubhouse and they ended up winning Clubhouse. And then now we've seen QuQ win the first round of Cafe, they end up winning the map. Is this going to be an omen to say that MDF are going to take this series after all? Just a little bit of food for thought. Obviously, you know, superstitions are just that, superstitions. They don't actually have any basis. But it could just be that sort of mental factor of getting off to a good start. You're able to get a round win on the board first, and it can really mentally prepare you for the rest of the game. So there is maybe something in it, even though it's not just like
attackers recover the diffuser.
Yeah, absolutely. Still running without the DMR here. On that P10, just dangerously close to getting some heads with that thing. A very high rate of fire. So makes sense to just continue trying to pepper them, get a bit of damage dealt. But he's quickly becoming surrounded here. He's got teammates to back him up though, so they're very committed to this defense around the bar here. Obviously, this is not the site, so it's still a very extended room here. Hachi gets one. Hachi gets two.
What? Okay.
The QuQ defense completely collapsed by one Australian woman.
Taxi is out.
Yep.
Tax deployed.
I would get collapsed by an Australian woman.
Drone launched.
Anyway, back to the round. The joke, the bit didn't quite land, but that's fine. We move on to the rest of this game because QuQ, we've seen that resilience from them before. You know, we saw a lot of clutches come through, but Hachi's continuing to dominate, finally taken out by Ollie. But it takes an Australian to kill an Australian, it seems. Mozzie's the one to find that kill, but it's still a 2 versus 4 for QuQ, and they're in a very difficult spot. Kai and Ollie starting to get pressured. This Montaigne is providing a lot of pressure, and it's actually the team name from Verion to take down Monty, but Aina does find the kill, essentially trading out his teammates from the own team's decision, and there's just, from the long angle through Drum, taking out Kai. So it didn't matter in the end, but that could have been very, very dangerous.
Yeah, but overall, this is a great result for MDF there. Sure, it still was on the back of one player, Hachi really going above and beyond there, but it was a much more dominant win on this round than the first round. So you're already showing that you're getting more comfortable into this map with your MDF, which is nice to see. Again, they haven't played this in an official match, at least in ESA. I'm not sure about other leagues if they're in any.
Defenders,
so
protect your
it's
bombs
still a
from
very
being
unknown
defused by
quantity
attackers.
here. So it's nice to see them winning these rounds. Obviously, the sort of dream is that they win this next one without one player sort of going above and beyond, a sort of team effort. Then it really shows that they're back in their groove. Winning this next round in general is great. Getting that 3 rounds in a row on the attack as well, crucial here. gives you a lot more sort of leeway on your remaining attacking rounds and on your defensive rounds as well. So this next round is the dream, really, and it's kind of, again, one of those must-win rounds for QuQ here. If they fail 3 in a row here, you
10
give
seconds left
MDF
before insertion.
all of that sort of space in terms of rounds. It could really
5
come back to
seconds
bite
left
you when it
before
gets down to the
insertion.
sort of nitty-gritty round 11, round 12 scoreline.
Attackers
So
are
they
moving
don't
out
want
to
to
locate a
lose
bomb
this
and
from
defuse
this
it.
round. It's the
Attackers
first time
drop the
defending
diffuser.
the
Attackers
office site,
recover the
though, so
bomb
there's a
and
bit
defuse
of a... We can give them a bit of leeway if things don't go too well. They haven't had any mistakes yet to learn from here, but they've also played this map a lot, so they should have a fairly decent sort of standing here.
Yeah, and the defense tends to do quite well on this top floor, on Skyscraper. So to see this 2-0 lead from MDF is surprising and honestly a little bit worrying from QuQ. Despite the fact, yeah, sure, they haven't defended this site in this game, they probably should have been played here and won already. That's just how this map tends to go. So to see this 2-0 lead,
Attackers bomb diffuser
yeah,
has been
slightly
dropped.
concerning, but
Attackers recover the
MDF, we've seen them sort of crumble and fumble leads before, and they might just do so again as Yuki getting very, very aggressive here. It's Kai who finds the first onto Veriox. Impact grenades prepped for Yuki. There's a lot of pressure going on to this Montaigne, but as it stands, it's a 4 versus 5.
It's pretty funny watching Ollie running away from the Monty there, knowing full well it was a bait, just doesn't even bother trying to engage there. He's just read into his opponent all too well, and he was more than willing to take that risk to reinforce his teammate there. But it takes a swing as well, why don't you? Take down Hachi, 3 versus 5 now, MDF firmly on the back foot, and Yuki's dead to those goo needles, down at least just. Got a lot of work ahead of him to try and secure these kills and secure his teammate as well. Manages to maybe do neither. No, does get Yuki down and Ollie very low. Ada gets another. Suddenly, we're on the cusp of a 3 versus 3. MDF looking like they might take this back if they can secure this kill on Ollie, who once again has weaseled away on 1 HP.
Yeah, so let's just have a look about this, because this is an incredibly stressful situation it will be for MDF, and it's only going to get worse. Ravena down to 5 HP in the last player alive in 1 versus 3. The swings are going to come through, but position noted and information gained, and there's a kill as well. Finally, Team QuQ find the scoreboard, but it's not easy at all. And yeah, they have not played Skyscraper in any other leagues I've just checked. So this is still a slightly strange start, to be honest. I'm not really used to this look from QuQ on their defenses, especially in Team Room Karaoke, which they're going to again. And I'm starting to worry, Joe. Is this another Church Arsenal moment?
Yeah.
Attackers
Well, we've had those 2 defensive rounds not being won there, so already it's not a great start, but they've had that other round to really feel things up, feel out the way that MDF want to approach these attacks. So they could try and sort of take some of those lessons learned and apply them to here. Again, you're going to want to be more aggressive against MDF. Don't sort of give them the comfort to execute with all 10 alive, because they're probably going to win there. They won with that Monty execute. They won on a much more dominant fashion when Hachi just full-on entry there. So I guess you just need to get aggressive, try and get that opening pick, specifically Hachi, because he has been very good so far on this site, on that operating the gridlock, really. I guess the only other way, try and just keep those other members of MDF who have yet to hit the scoreboard, keep them out of the game. Keep applying that pressure to the weakest link. Just exploit the fact that they aren't really getting into things yet. Make MDF essentially play a 4 versus 5 every round. Obviously, the sort of double-sided nature of that is an aggressive playstyle tends to sort of have this inherent risk, and if QuQ end up getting sort of taken out early, immediately MDF have the confidence to push forward very aggressively. So it's a very fine balancing act that QuQ might just simply not really want to attack.
Yeah, it is going to be a difficult round, I feel, for QuQ because of the confidence that MDF will feel. Obviously, that previous round will sort of get the gears rolling again for this defensive team, but MDF, they have the past history, even just in this game on this map, and it is definitely a good one, especially on Karaoke T. They have already won it twice within this first 3 rounds. Now looking to get a 3rd victory here on the board as more pressure through from this eastern side. This QuQ defense force at least a little bit away. Red Ping's coming through as well, and there's a kill from Just. Ollie, though, does take down Variox, who's not able to find the scoreboard in this game, but there's Yuki with a trade. Ollie now getting even more aggressive to try and bring his team back in it, but taken out by Hachi, who again is having massive success in these rounds, already finding some good games, and that is a disconnect from Ollie. I'm not going to assume it's a rage quit. There's other issues that could be happening as well. But here's an issue. Larry's dead. It's all down to Kai in a 1 versus 4. And well, this one looks like it's over.
Yeah, Kai, he can try and play around these angles. He's got a couple punch holes, a lot of different ways to look. He does get flashed, doesn't get flashed actually because it's a warden, but still,
Yay.
just can't deal with that onslaught of attackers. Nice to see that one gadget being used once in a while, mainly just picked for the gun, but still isn't going to help QuQ there, as we might be going to attack pauses. We don't have all 5 members of QuQ in as of yet. Just trying to check now with production to see. Yep, we are indeed going to be going for a pause. It was just I think it was a hand cam issue, so they're just pausing, maintaining integrity, all that. But MDF, they've had quite an impressive start to this map so far, I think you'll agree.
Yeah. I am really liking this look from MDF, and for all we said about QuQ and how we hadn't seen MDF here, I hate to say this because it's obviously like a massive meme, but the saving strats maybe? Like, they have only played like 3 or 4 maps this entire series. There's a 9-map pool, and this is the first time they've gone over like 50% of all of the pool. And if they make it to the grand finals where it's a best of 5, they have so much that's unhidden that minions cannot actually read off them. Because of how well they've been playing on the maps that they have played, the minions might know what to deal with, and then there's no information on all of the others.
Yeah, obviously there is the risk that if you choose to hide a map, you only really have scrims to sort of look at your weaknesses. And scrims and officials are a different environment. You will always face probably more adversity in officials than in scrims. So it's nice to sort of play those maps once in a while, just to sort of see in an actual full-on competitive setting how well you hold up. And that could be where potentially MDF, they might fumble on the defense. We don't know. Their attacks, though, looking very strong as we're going down to the kitchen. We're not seeing a reattempt of Karaoke Tea, so it might have escaped the curse that sort of had a grasp on Church and Arsenal and Clubhouse. We are seeing a variety of defensive sites being played here, so we try and get rounds on the board. Likely going to be a heavy investment on that top floor just to deal with that critical play. But strangely enough, no book and no sledge.
Yeah, it's interesting. Barbecue Kitchen isn't really the site I would try and go for when you're struggling to win defenses, but Ollie goes aggressive, finds the first, traded back by Hachi, who again is having a massive success inside of this map, but that's at least hard breach gone. However, Just finds another kill, and again it's advantage to MDF just like that.
Yeah, but there is a big problem, as you said, no hard breach. So they're gonna have to go either through, well, invest more utility into destroying the castle barricades, or go for more risky plays through things like windows and other doorways. That's the angle held by Southern here. Down as well on that nitro cell. So MDF, they aren't fully out of it yet. They aren't in the clear yet. Even Larry, danger from close. Oh, just debating out the kill there. 3 versus 2 still. Advantage.
So much trouble.
You lose the gridlock as Southern.
Oh, the tracks as well.
Oh
no.
He just gave up. He really did just give up. EJ, 1 versus 3. Can he do it? I don't think so. I'm gonna say I'm of little faith. I am ye.
Kanye. Oh god.
Little faith. EJ.
Yeah, I know.
Can he do it?
I don't think he can either, to be honest. I mean, Yuki's being so aggressive on this Montaigne, keeping the information on this player, keeping behind the stop walls, allowing for Just to go for that defuse plan. EJ is pushing through though. The cutoff is not quite there, but there comes that Montaigne with the melee. I mean, I do feel bad for Summer. On those
really just unfortunate position, just absolutely fed to the wolves there, wasn't he? Utility all around him, Monty in his face. There was nothing he could really do there, so
no.
He just chooses the early death, can get on cameras quicker, so
true.
A bit of strategy there as QuQ really starting to feel the sort of burn of MDF now. 3 rounds behind as MDF they might just repeat history on Cafe. 5-1 half for QuQ. MDF, they might match it 4-1 at least here, so that's going to put them on a great step forward going into their defenses on the final half of this entire best of three. So really, I'd say this is a must-win round for QuQ, but it might already be determined by that 4 round. Obviously, we said that on Clubhouse. Things went very differently on Clubhouse.
And very strangely. But I don't understand the decision. I mean, where else do you really go? Because Karaoke Tea not working, they're not going for that Church Arsenal route again. They know what trouble that left them in. But Barbecue Kitchen? Like, there's a reason why it's that tertiary site. We saw how easily, even without vertical, MDF were able to just pick that setup apart. Like,
may as well just try something, I guess.
Yeah,
just try.
like bathroom maybe? I don't know, but they have exhibition back now, which is the main talking point, because they won here. So at least that's something.
It is something, but MDF have just got stronger throughout this entire match. It seems like they've gotten more cohesive, they're less reliant on individual players. So they could easily take this, really, if they don't lose this opening pick early on. QuQ, they seem pretty shaken here. They aren't going for the kind of the peaks that they exhibited early on. Sure, Ollie is still doing Ollie things, getting up to absolute nuisance on the ground floor. Even then, back on the site now, he's not committing to a roam here. MDF being shown a lot of respect.
Maybe some that actually QuQ don't need to show them. Obviously, you know, we've seen that this round is definitely, or this game even, is certainly slipping away from QuQ. But disrespect is making it difficult, and as soon as they disrespect them, they find success. Ollie would run out, takes out Hachi. However, the breach has been opened up, so at least there's entry into the site for MDF, but it's still a massive pick to get down off, because Hachi's been having a massive game, and another player to point out is Just, who had an abysmal Cafe, is now 8-2 here, Joe.
Just, he's really had this resurgence here. Obviously, eyes might still also be on Variox, who hasn't quite found his way into this match yet, but he's playing Book. He could potentially be opening up angles for the rest of his team. He's down there with Just, that player we were just mentioning, so he can still be having an impact here. He's locking off areas for the defense. He's still doing his job in this round, and just, you know, you've already got other players bearing that load. You obviously can't expect everyone on a team to constantly be doing, like, putting up these fantastic numbers. Other players have to fall behind, but MDF, they don't seem too concerned with that at all. They're getting these walls open. Goya canister charge already used here, so they're getting close to the site. Yuki takes out the Goya himself. Ollie, that troublemaker, is off the board now. That's going to give MDF a lot of freedom here, because that was really the only player on QuQ who was still playing with confidence, playing like they were on Cafe. Everyone else has seemed just thoroughly shook by this round. Larry does even things out for a moment, still does a 3v3. QuQ, they might have a chance here.
Yeah, Souther as well, sneaking about in terrace, looking to try and find some impact with 30 seconds left. The onus is now on MDF to try and get any form of advantage, find these kills, find an ingress into the site, and Justice now up these stairs, finds the kill onto EJ, beautiful flick, Mankai behind the dragon as well, tries to find those prone shots, wall bangs, and Souther caught in the reload, and it's not looking good for him, stuck in a 1 versus 2, Variox shuts down Kai after killing Just, and it's going to be tough. And, well, there's nothing for it. Variox finally find the scoreboard as well. 5-1. Cafe possibly repeating itself as the side swap comes in. QuQ looking very much worse for wear, Joe. This one might just be over.
And honestly, as you know, you'll see people throughout talking about stats. Variox right there shows that although you might not be getting all those kills, the impact of those, I believe, 2 kills he got on that round were insane. He gets those final 2, locks off that 5-1 half. Incredible job from him on that vertical roll, also just clearing out the defense. Because when it came down to the execute, there was no one on site. It was too dangerous. They'd all retreated to Dragon or to Terrace. Thanks to that Book, thanks to those nades from below. So although he wasn't actually finding kills until the very end of that round, his impact was felt throughout. And that's something a lot of people just simply forget. It's not all about numbers. It's a shooter. I already made the whole "you shoot people, they die" joke all the way back in Clubhouse. But it's also not. Siege is a very weird game. It has FPS elements, but there's also that utility. There's also the other roles that players fulfill that allow you to get an advantage throughout the round. So MDF, they've done an incredible job on that attack. All of
Attackers
them,
are
despite
moving
the
to
scoreboard
defuse the
really
bomb.
favouring just a couple, they've all done a fantastic job bouncing back from that loss on Cafe. They are 2 rounds away from winning this entire series, 2 rounds away from making it to the finals. Can they do it?
Well, evidence and past form would say yes. Cook needs to get something real good going here. And honestly, I think we saw it on Cafe where MDF, they found those first 2 rounds on that second half, but as soon as they lost a round, again, that momentum was gone. So it might be a case of they need the 3 rounds at the start of the half, otherwise it might just be over. Cook on their last legs here inside of ESA Cup. Obviously, if they lose this, it's not all over. They still have that 3rd place game on Friday against Project 100. It's a whiffed Ash charge onto the breach. EJ isn't going to be able to get it open, but not entirely where he would like it to be. The breach gets opened up now. Pressure onto this eastern side, but again, the site isn't over here. The site is over on the west, and Cook and MDF, sorry, are doing a great job of wasting a lot of time. It's Larry downstairs who finds a kill. Second, what a shot onto Yuki. 5 versus 3 for Cook suddenly. Defense on this karaoke team not looking so great, but have wasted a decent amount of time every second on the clock.
Hachi pushing around to this shrine position feels like he's still fast trying to pick cameras now. Also a problem for this MDF side is the Kaibi hack did come out, so immediately they are in a very bad situation here. Hachi is going to try and get picks there just to even things out. He really needs to, I believe. Flashbang coming out, yeah, utility burn in place. Nade gonna clear out that shield fairly quickly. Hachi though still remains alive. He really wants to play aggressive here though. He needs to try and even things out because when it gets to a 5 vs 3 execute, MDF, they are not looking so hot there. So it's really just down to these final 20 seconds, I would say. If they can try and make things a bit more even, obviously, you're likely not going to get 3v3. But a 3 vs 4 would go a long way to stopping Cook, and it doesn't go that way at all. 2 vs 4 now, 1 kill at least coming out of MDF, but Cook really looking like they're about to run away with this round.
Yeah, Variox has found the first after, going pretty much most of that first half without kills. Still now hitting shots, which is what they wanted for him. And EJ's gone down as well. 2 vs 3. Can't land the shot on to Ollie though. And Aina's in now 1 vs 3, but Diffuser is down. Picked up by Larry. And Sutter shuts it down. First round of the half goes the way of Cook. They're back in this game. 5 rounds to 2. However, Karaoke T, we've seen defense actually struggle on this one. But, again, every comeback starts with a round, every journey starts with a step. And Cook, well, this is very much the definition of baby steps.
Yeah, big thing to point out there, though, it was down to the individual sort of play from that Dekaibi just completely carving out that remaining roam there. So it's not something you can consistently rely on for the side of Cook here. They've still got a lot of flaws to iron out as they go onto their attack here. MDF, as well, made that surprisingly close. If Variox gets that next pick, 2 vs 2, you could easily see that swing in the way of MDF, especially with the diffuser being cold. Fortunately for Variox, he doesn't quite land those shots there still. Managed to make himself even on kills, so he's still finding impact, especially now that he's really started to sort of wake up in this server, in this map. So MDF, they're still, I would say, getting even stronger as this map goes on. Bringing that Legion now, the Zami, the Capcan, and the Thorn. Really just an incredibly aggressive lineup of incredibly frustrating operators, particularly that Legion who has managed to sneak his way into the meta now with all those buffs he received in this most recent patch. Just could be a difference maker here with those needles if he's gone unchecked.
The super shotgun is just so funny. And again, that shotgun buff we were talking about earlier,
reloading ammo.
We're not seeing any form of primary shotgun through from this defense of MDF, but it could be something they want to look into in the future should they need it. Obviously thinking about the Mossberg is just so damn strong, but now the rest of them are sort of catching up, especially the 612, which is now viable, which again ridiculous because
somehow
that gun is awful, but there you go.
Yep. Strange times potentially ahead of us when this meta gets figured out,
again.
but Larry figuring out this map certainly
God.
gets another on this Dekaibi. Once again, opening things up. That's just the power play of MDF taking down these needles. still applying a bit of pressure throughout the map. They won't disappear now that he's been taken out, but still not a good first pick at all for the side of MDF. Just losing such a key playmaker there. Got it hurt as Ollie continuing to find his confidence, getting very aggressive towards Terrace here, forcing a bit of a response from MDF, who they once again on the back foot here. They need to try and even things out. They need to make a play, I would say. Yuki getting very aggressive with the shield, and if he gets taken down here, I think that once again we're going to be seeing a quick round. Aina, though, look at him with this such a one-sided angle on this Kiba barricade. Doesn't quite catch his target. We're still seeing the power of this utility in this setup.
Oh, Yuki nearly catches out Southern as well, who goes for the re-swing. It's EJ now, the one who sends in flash grenades, and that should be a frag grenade to take out that shield. Try and position now, gone for the defense, but Aina is still here inside of Drum, and just attention diverted a second for that Razor Bloom, but player now rotating back down underneath to rejoin the rest of the team. That Kiba barrier will finally be taken out. Aina does not have any left, but Hachi has found one damage going left and right, but it's MDF that come up big with the kills. Now man advantage is in their favour after this opener from Larry, who still is alive, still opportunity to find more kills, but it's actually Souther getting the scoreboard next with another shot. Larry up those main stairs trying to find something, can't get any of it though. With 30 seconds left in the round, here comes another swing. QuQ continuing to pile on the pressures. It's EJ and Souther now through Dragon, through Shrine, pushing up towards the bomb site. They take out the EDD, but that shouldn't be that shot. Will give away their position. Larry is well noted on the main stairs. Very from long range. Shots one down. Larry at least gets one. But it's an SMG 12 shot the other way. And Varick shuts it down. Map series point. It's just one round away for MDF. The grand finals. They can almost taste it now, surely.
Yeah, but they can't let that get in their head. They can't sort of fall into that one more round mentality, because if you start slipping rounds here, you start getting frustrated, you play poorly. It's this sort of self-fulfilling cycle here. They can't dwell on that fact. They need to play this as if it's sort of round 6. Don't let it get into your head that you're one round away. Obviously for QuQ, they can't really afford to do that. They need to be focused on the fact that there are no more mistakes. They are one round away from not dropping out the competition. Both these teams will still have another match ahead of them, but they're one round away from not being in the finals. They only get to that third place match. I think we'll agree it's nowhere near as prestigious as the finals. It's also nowhere near as much of a reward. Cash, the prize obviously less for third than it is for first. So MDF in a very good spot here, going to this office site, which has found a lot of success for. Well, it was their only success, I believe, for the side of
10 seconds
the
left.
side of QuQ on their defenses, the office site here. So MDF, they're going to see if they can just repeat that, get some success here. They've got this mirror player, just provide a lot of utility with a lot of pressure with those windows, specifically challenging outside that breach here. Kyan as well being brought. I think this might be the first time we've seen him all day for such a sort of almost a standard pick operator, just for dealing with that hard breach utility. Ollie though, Ollie getting a little bit aggressive here on this armory pick at least, or he might be playing it for the gun. I can't really apply a narrative yet. He's not gone through a window in the first 20 seconds, so he might be playing actually a bit disciplined for an armory player this round.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just playing for the gun at that point, just pick IQ. Like, it's the same gun, and I think you still get flashes, and you have at least some information to be gained as well. Ollie, though, is still continuing to push through. I thought he was going to get called out from that angle. Up on the table, those horizontal holes opened at the top of the walls, all the way a sightline. But nothing is gained from it, and there's a lot of damage. Actually, only a little bit. Hatchy, it looked like that would do more, but just chasing the drones, being herded into a dangerous spot, as Yuki as well, taking a lot of heat from this QuQ attack. They keep on going. It very obviously finds the first Aina up on the table. This angle is going to be huge. No! Kai has taken down EJ. Possibly the nail in the coffin for this side. Souther can't get the kill onto Aina either. Suddenly QuQ in disarray, and they're crumbling at the seams. Kai, the next one to step up to the plate, at least takes down Variox. That's a thorn in their side taken away, but the Thorn of Hachi is still standing, still able to get some kills with the Uzi. Now a 1.5 scope. It's definitely a successful pick, and now looking towards Kai's position inside of Drum as well. The swing across deals damage. but there's more the other way. Hachi still standing, but Kai cannot stay the same. It's all on Southern. He's taken down. MDF is successful. Just decomposition of this Cook side, and it all stems from a team grenade in that round. EJ had no chance in it, and the rest of the team cannot compete with Just and the rest of MDF. That is not what you want to see. That is not the loss you want to have. How, if that was you in that situation, Joe, how would you feel currently if you're a Team Cook player?
I think I would say something that I probably can't say on stream. So, in the interest of the stream, I will not. I will not pretend. Oh,
bother! Oh, gilly gosh!
Oh bother! Exactly.
Yeah.
Really. But all jokes aside, phenomenal comeback from MDF there after such a horrific map loss on Cafe there.
Oh yeah.
Particularly the Variox. Oh, he may not have got the most kills, but it must be difficult going off of such a crippling map loss, then starting the third map on 0 kills for such a long amount of time, only for him to just explode into life in that second half, getting lots of impact, lots of kills on that Wamai specifically, getting 2, I believe, in that final round, really leading MDF to success in the final round of the series. So congratulations to MDF. You make it to the finals. Commiserations, Cook. You've still got a third, fourth match ahead of you. Please don't forfeit that. It will probably be a good match. Still money to be made there. So in my opinion, 2 great games on the way here for to cap off this season.
Yeah, so let's actually just break down those couple games here. In sort of this post-show segment, obviously it was a 2-1 win for MDF. Team Cook, they're going to face Project 100 as it's pretty much an all UK top 4 here, actually, which is something that never happens in ESA. It's always German dominance with these teams. But actually, MDF, they have a wide spread of European talent from the UK to France to Germany to Italy even. And then you look towards Minions, Project 100, and Team Cook, all of those UK talents. So the UK scene really stepping up in the season, but it will be a bit of friendly fire for that third place match. And just a reminder, let's look at the prize pool. 4th place gets nothing. 3rd place gets €200. 2nd place gets €400. And 1st place gets €1,400. That is the big prize that MDF and Minions will be playing for. But again, like you said, money to be won in that 3rd place match. But unfortunately, it is a common trend to see those being forfeit by teams. But it is still all to play for. And like you said, that will be a good game, as will the final on Sunday.
Absolutely. I think we're coming to the end of this season. There's been phenomenal plays from a multitude of players, from a multitude of teams. And now we've got, in theory, those best 2 Minions. They're back for round 2 in the grand finals. They failed last year to Entropy. This year might be their year. They're back once again. And MDF, the newcomers, this team of just all around Europe talent, I believe, probably one of the first ones that have found success in that formula. Usually it tends to be the most successful teams are all of one region, of very sort of tight-knit communities. MDF, though, they went with this sort of European experiment, and it has worked out wonders so far. Yeah. So I'm very, very excited for this grand finals.
Yeah, and MDF as well. You know, they're a roster that are built out of previous successful rosters. You have obviously Hachi and you obviously have Hachi and Yuki from that Entropy roster that won 2 seasons in a row. You also have Aina, who was on that Penta roster that we saw deal massive damage, season 5, season 4. Penta really dealt a lot of damage to the teams around ESA. And now they're back in a grand final. It is, again, Minions who, like you mentioned, they were in the grand final last year. They lost to Entropy. It was a very good game. I believe it went all 5, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it might have gone to 4. It might have been
it was a long game either way.
It was definitely a long game. It was a 3-1, but we saw a lot of 7-5s, a lot of 7-4s in that sort of 3-1 series. And again, we're seeing the same thing this time. Obviously, next time we see ESA after this season, there's an entirely new map pool that has stayed strong for so long, this sort of theme park, skyscraper, and villa as well. They will be out. We have Consulate and Nighthaven Labs coming in after this season. A lot of exciting changes to be looking forward to. Obviously, the new season came out yesterday as well. lots of stuff to look forward to in the future, but for the present, that's going to be where we end today's stream. I've been Pasta, I've been joined by Poobal, the duo. We're back in action, baby. We've had Bozmax on the observing, we've had a Hotnix on the producing, also called Max. So it's a very Max central stream here. So without further ado, let's just send it away. I want to go to bed, I want to have dinner, and I'm sure a lot of you do all as well. So that's going to be us signing off. See you on Friday.
Bye.